Recorded starting indeed. I grab my headphones here. Going to need these in a moment. I gotta get some monitor speakers in this bitch. I might need more outlets to do that. All of this runs on a lot of juice. I'm responsible for a lot of fucking global warming down here. Anyway, what do you say? Your father's gay. Let me pull the old prep sheet up here. Big tits are, of course, on the screen because who doesn't love those? We feature, of course, big tits on the screen here every time we start the live stream, and this is unfortunately for those of you who demand a live show. This is a pre-recorded live show, so it's not actually a live stream. I know I've been doing a few of these lately. It's just the deal. That's the schedule right now. It's the holidays. My brother's about to pop out a kid, so I am about to become a funkle for real. Although I should get this out there ahead of time. My brother-in-law, my sister's husband, has actually called dibs on molesting our future nephew. So I will not. I'll be a funkle, but I won't be the real fun uncle. You know what I mean? I will not be the Uncle Dave, or well, in this case, Uncle Scott, as it will be. But yeah, so I got there's just a lot of shit going on, and I want to. It's between that and not doing a show or rescheduling the show for like later in the day when if you're used to Friday at 8, it should be Friday at 8. So that's that. Yeah. So, I guess if you're that upset about it, what I don't have, I don't know if I have enough viewers to really drive anyone away. It would just be, oh yeah, no one's fucking watching again anyway. So yeah. So what are you going to do? So in any case, this is a pre-record. You'll be seeing a few of these from time to time going forward. It's that or no show at all. So that's that. In any case, you do get big fucking tits on the screen. Sorry, I was a little distracted there. My neighbor's staircase is like right behind the camera, and they were coming and going, so I was a bit distracted. But that's done with. The big tits are not yet anyway. The big tits that we keep on screen here are a reminder to you to stop by every Friday at 8 p.m. and to tell your friends, hey, Friday nights, 8 o'clock, this guy's going to pop some big tits up on the screen on YouTube, and we're going to talk about the goings-on of the day. And it'll be fun, and worst case scenario, if the episode blows, at least you got to see a nice heaving set of fucking cans. Everyone loves big tits, except for the people who listen to the audio version of this show, I guess. Like, I've seen chicks love big tits. If a chick meets a chick with big tits, chicks love big tits. Watch the reaction. Chicks love a big set of cans. Fucking gay guys love a big set of cans. Fucking chicks with gay best friends are always letting their fucking gay friends cop a feel of their fucking titties because I guess they like it in a non-sexual way. They're just transfixed by them. They don't have a chance to grab them in their sexual lives. So like, yeah, of course, big set of fucking cans. Who's not going to grab them? Everyone likes big tits, except for the people who listen to the audio version of this show instead of checking out the video live stream. And I'm not saying not to download the podcast. I could certainly use the fucking numbers. But if it was me personally, I'd be watching the live stream because that's where the titties are at. That's the place to be. If for some reason you are not partial to big tits, you can find the Savage Sacktap wherever podcasts are available: Spotify, iTunes, Libsyn. We're on iHeart Radio. Where the fuck else? Probably Amazon. Just Google fucking Savage Sacktap. And you will find it in every podcatcher. And if it's not, tell me, and I'll just drop the fucking RSS feed in, and we'll be all set. So do that. Follow, of course, YouTube for the big tits, YouTube Mike Montone, Facebook.com/The Savage Crew. I stream on there as well. I think I need to get a Twitch going because my streaming service does allow for Twitch. So I think that's going to be the next move. I'm not sure about doing it on. Probably won't do it on Twitter or anything like that. I might pop in on Instagram Live every once in a while in the future. But yeah, check all those out at Mike Montone on Twitter, at Gary_Moyler, Moyler on Instagram. And what do you say we get things going? You'll be able to gaze upon these hefty jugs for just a few more seconds as I intro the show, and then they will go away for just a little bit. Oh, you're a Beatles fan. Big fucking shit. I'm the great great grandson of Sitting Bull. Can I prove it? No. Do I have to? Nope. But I'll make a deal with you colonizers. Stick around for the next hour of live streaming, and I'll forget that you owe me reparations. A fresh episode of the Savage Sacktap starts now.
You're listening to the Savage Sacktap. It's not a podcast, it's not a half-cast, it's just a quick shot to the balls to help you finish off the week. We're cutting through the bullshit, filling your Friday with rage-fueled logic, and cracking a few jokes along the way. So grab a bag of frozen peas. There's a Savage Sacktap coming your way.
Smooth, lascivious, salacious, outrageous.
Let's smoke that peace pipe, baby. Yeah, the big tits, unfortunately, do have to come down for just a few minutes. One sec. By the end of the show, you'll have forgotten all about the big tits, and then they'll be back, and you'll be like, "Hey, isn't that nice? Where is the non-big tit?" There we go. I'm sorry. I will need that space shortly. Unfortunately, the tits are so huge. They can't share the screen with anything else. All right. Enough stalling. Let's get the fucking episode started. I am Mike Montone. This, of course, the Savage Sacktap. I'd say, of course, like you really fucking know. Like this is a well-known program. No, you have unfortunately. You have stumbled upon the Savage Sacktap. Someone has given you false promises of an entertaining show, and what's about to unfold here this evening is anything but. I do, of course, have my Muhlenberg College hoodie on right now. It's a little chilly in here, otherwise I was going with the Muhlenberg football T-shirt. The Muhlenberg Mules, my alma mater. I played a couple years out there. They are in the I believe the Elite Eight of the Division III National Championship tournament. They're playing Mount Union this weekend, which is they are fucking. Mount Union is like the legendary Division III fucking football team. They are just always fucking good. I remember back when I was playing high school football, watching them on they play in the Stag Bowl, is the Division III National Championship. And I remember like watching them. I was like, these motherfuckers are fucking good. Like, this is what Division III football is about? No shit. So yeah. My Division III football career was nothing to write home about. I made a couple tackles on fucking kickoffs and during a little bit of mop-up time my freshman and sophomore year. That's about it. But still a very cool thing to have been a part of such a good football program. My freshman year, we made the Division III National Championship tournament. We lost to it was some school down in Virginia. I forget their name. And then my sophomore year, we went up to St. John Fisher up in way in upstate New York, where they have that weird like Minnesota accent. Rochester, Ticonderoga. They talk like a bunch of fucking weirdos walking around talking like that. But yeah, they beat the shit out of us. I forget I think the final score was like 35-6 or something. Like, we got our fucking shit pushed in. I'm not gonna lie, I was relatively indifferent because if we had won the game, we would have had to stay at fucking campus over Thanksgiving break. But since we lost, I was able to go home and eat a delicious meal and get my fucking balls licked by my ex girlfriend from when I was growing up. So yeah, kind of a win-win really. If you win, you go on to the next round of the playoffs. If you lose, you still win because you get to go home for Thanksgiving and get filleted. So that's the ultimate win-win, I think. But anyway, that's that. Again, this is I mentioned last time. This is not a fucking Division 3 football sports sports guy, sports talk. I fucking hate sports talk. I love sports, but I hate hearing fucking guys talk about sports because none of them know what the fuck they're talking about, and it is just awful. It's just fucking bad. Um, but anyway, in addition to not liking when fucking dudes sit around fucking sports radio, I also can't stand listening to dudes sit around talking about the fucking Beatles. I do not give a shit about the fucking Beatles. Everybody on the planet is coming in their fucking pants about this documentary, whatever the fuck it is. And there's this scene where I don't know who the fuck is who. It's John, Paul, George, and Ringo. I think John and Paul were like the important ones, as I understand. And one of them pulls the song Get back to where you was. But yeah, whatever the fuck. It's like it kind of an average. It's a good song. I'm not gonna turn it off if it's on the radio. I could see it. It probably works in a movie soundtrack. I don't. I'm not obsessed with it. I don't think it's like the holy fucking grail of music. But he pulls it out of thin air. And he's just humming and strumming and playing the fucking guitar, and people are really into it. Like it's just trending all over social media. People are talking about the Beatles, the Beatles, the Beatles. I do not fucking care. The only way, if you want to make a Beatles documentary interesting to me, you want something that I want to watch, uh, interview them about how they all used to the surviving ones, about how they all used to jerk off together. Get some footage of the fucking Beatles having a circle jerk. Now that would be something to watch. That would be something like that, a legendary band having a fucking circle jerk would, and then like explaining what was going on. They were all like, yeah, we were thinking of Bridget Bardot. Like, and then you're like, okay, I get it. Yeah, she was a piece of ass back in the day. If you're gonna, not a lot of reasons to start jerking off with your buddies, but if everyone's got Bridget Bardot on the mind, I get it. That, and then just make the rest Mark David Chapman. That's all. Mark David Chapman. And since they were kind of the time, see if you can mix in. I know they had nothing to do with it, but mix in a little Kent State footage too, just for funsies. Yeah, Bridget Bardot. We were talking our tallywhackers. Yeah. John came all over his belly thinking of Bridget Bardot. Then his brains were all over the sidewalk in Central Park. And again, this isn't, I sometimes I feel like I stray too far into having animus for the Beatles when really it's listening to people talk about the Beatles that I have just no fucking use for. Because I can't say that they have a huge catalog, and it certainly there's some fucking songs in there. I'll give them that. I not to relitigate this because I did it like 2 weeks ago. I did it and I played what is it? Hey, Love Me Do. It's just a stupid fucking song, and it's like one of their most well-known songs, and it's the dumbest shit I've ever fucking heard. Like, who's listening to this and calling these guys like the fucking masters of rock and roll? It fucking blows. But I played the music during the show, and YouTube fucking like they're like hiding the video. So if you want to find that, it's back there. It's just you got to go into the live show playlist, like the live. I think it's the live stream I think it's like past live shows or whatever, and you can find it in there. It should be in there. But yeah, again, I have no use for listening to or really discuss. It's so I that people just gush over them. I don't know. Anyway, on to more important. There are more important things than the fucking Beatles. All right, New York City. What a fucking shithole. It is getting chilly out, again evidenced by my hoodie and the fact that I'm enjoying a nice Christmas ale. October pumpkin beers can suck my ass, but these Christmas ales are good shit. Um, but as it gets colder, more and more homeless guys will be driven inside of the New York City Port Authority. And it's already starting to get fucking weird. Um, I was taking a piss. I fucking, I always have to take a whiz after I get off the bus because, yeah, you get up in the morning, glass of water, coffee, and then you piss before you leave. But like 15-minute walk to the bus stop, and then it's like a 20-25 minute bus ride. It's kind of bumpy. It jars, a little more fluid down to the tip of your wiener. So by the time I get off the bus, like my rod's pulsing and I got a fucking whiz. So I make a pit stop in the Port Authority before I head to work. And the other day there was a guy with a fucking city bike in the Port Authority bathroom. I was just like, nothing other than the fact that this is fucking hilarious. There's a homeless guy has a city bike in the fucking bathroom at the Port Authority. Like, it's just a microcosm of what a fucking zoo that place is. There you walk through, and I've been saying I'm going to do a walkthrough for a while now. And I either need to do it at like the height of fucking winter when all the homeless guys are inside, or in the peak of summer when it's hot as fuck and they're all outside and agitated and they're just laying naked on the sidewalk, as I've told you on 42nd Street, which we're gonna get to in a little bit. Oh, are we gonna get this? Is there a fucking New York video for us to watch? Yeah, I was walking down fucking magical 42nd Street where tourists flock, and there's a naked homeless guy facing back to me, laying perpendicular across the sidewalk with his dick and balls just tucked back between his legs and peeking at me from like below his ass crack. New York, New York, it's a hell of a town. But when it gets cold out, they all come inside to the Port Authority and no one chases them out. Like you'll walk through the halls at the Port Authority and it's a homeless camp. And not just like a homeless guys. Like they have all their shit. They're laying out fucking sleeping bags. That's it. They've taken over. Which it's hilarious to me that when this is what the city of New York, I don't is it the New York State and New York and New Jersey? It's the Port Authority, so it's a kind of just big government fucking jumble. This is an example of how the government just can't get shit done right. Like if this was a private bus terminal, if this was a private like Academy bus terminal, do you think there would be fucking homeless guys bringing City Bike? By the way, if you don't know what a City Bike is, if you're from the fucking sticks, they have this thing in metropolitan areas. They're bike shares, where basically there are bikes docked outside of buildings, and you put in your credit card and you grab a bike, and it just charges you for however much time you use it, and then you return it to a dock. A fucking homeless guy has one in the bathroom of the Port Authority. This would not happen at a privately owned transportation facility. It wouldn't be allowed. They would be removed by security immediately, and presumably arrested. The only place I can think of that's like a public entity that allows this kind of shit is Starbucks. Starbucks is in Hoboken. The fucking Starbucks on Washington Street in Hoboken is a homeless encampment. You go in, they have their fucking carts and they'll bring their shit inside. They do not fucking care. They take up tables. They hold court for fucking hours. They shit in the bathroom, all because there was that incident at Starbucks where I guess a stressed out cashier called the cops on a couple of black dudes who were out and about doing legitimate business, and it turned into this whole profiling thing. So that Starbucks was like, "Fuck it, we're not touching anybody. Doors open, come on in." And the homeless somehow found out, like, probably because they all have smartphones. They found out and they saw it on Twitter, and they're like, "All right, fuck it, Starbucks, third place, baby." And they started hanging out there. I was um, I was working on a content package to submit to the show that I work for now. Back when I was just applying to them, and I was at Starbucks drinking a coffee and working on the shit at kind of a not an incredibly long table, like about a table the size of this, I guess. And a homeless dude just fucking posted up with his little cart full of fucking stuff and sat across from me doing a little Sudoku, which they apparently fucking love. They love Sudoku. He was a nice guy. I had no, you know, I was, I'm not I'm not a fucking dick. If he wasn't menacing, he was a gentleman. He approached. He's like, "Hey, this is a seat's open. You mind if I sit here?" But he did not order a fucking drop of coffee. He did not spend a cent in that motherfucker. He was just hanging out there, being a little stinky, doing some Sudoku. Uh, Again, nice guy, but definitely not a paying customer, and definitely someone who lives outside. Um, which is not to bash the homeless. It's more to say that, you know, this is a problem that is not being dealt with. And it's getting gnarly, and they're getting hurt by it because these guys are, some of them, I don't know if you've noticed, if you spend time, if you're around homeless people enough, some of them are a little fucking deranged. And deranged people can get a little bit stabby sometimes. Uh, as evidenced by a lot of the news coming out of New York City. It's like every day now, and this has been going on for a while. Someone is just getting fucking stabbed or thrown in front of the subway. Like, where if think about it, and I hate belaboring these points, but where you live, is it a regular occurrence that people are thrown in front of moving trains? Because in New York City, people are thrown in front of moving fucking trains all the time, and it's just sort of treated like a casual, like, "Hey, what are you gonna do? Life in the Big Apple, huh?" It's like fucking only in New York, folks. It's absolutely insane that this is like a tolerated fucking behavior. Um, in any case, um, De Blasio claims New York City is back for whatever. I have no, you know, he's delusional. Um, De Blasio would do a press conference from like the subway platform where someone was thrown in front of a train. Like, as you can see, folks, New York City is back. With our third person thrown in front of a subway car this week. Uh, he's a fucking idiot. Seth Rogen too. Seth Rogen is a fucking dumbass. I don't know if anyone heard what Seth Rogen said about if you live in Los Angeles, you should just accept your car getting broken into on dozens of occasions as a part of city life. Like, what an out of touched, moneyed douchebag way to talk down to people who are worried about their possessions being broken into and taken. Their cars that they've paid thousands of dollars for. There's like there's videos of guys like just pulling up beside a car in like San Francisco or wherever. A guy gets out, smashes the window, takes a bunch of stuff, gets back in the other car, and they drive away. There's looting going on all over the fucking country. Fucking just amazing. But in any case, despite all of this, uh, New York City is apparently back, and they have rolled out this asinine new ad, and I can't even do justice uh, to explaining it. So the best way to do this is just for us to have a watch ski. So if you'll indulge me for a moment, I'll share it on the screen. You're going to hate me for showing you this, by the way. Here we go.
Give my regards to Broadway.
Let's pump it up a little bit.
Remember me to Herald Square. Tell all the gang at 42nd Street that I will soon be there. Whisper of how I'm yearning to mingle with the old-time throng. Give my regards to old Broadway and say that I'll be there ere long. Give my...
Oof. Oh, just fucking atrocious. I had to do that. I'm sorry. They've been playing this by every fucking commercial break on. I watch a lot of Comedy Central, and cause The Office, South Park, Seinfeld, it's all on there. So I catch it on there a lot. And NBC New York is playing the fuck out of this, and I just can't escape it. I have this stupid little show tune stuck in my head, and it's infuriating because the entire premise is a lie. So I want to go back through it just a little bit.
Give my regards to Broadway. Remember me to Herald Square.
Okay, Herald Square, for those of you who don't know, is also home to a massive homeless encampment. Do you see a recurring theme here when we talk about New York City and, dare I say, a number of liberal-run cities across the United States? There are needles everywhere. They just sleep there and shoot fucking heroin. They smoke crack and they fight with each other. There have been shootings and stabbings and all sorts of horrible things going on in fucking Herald Square. These four individuals, these little, they're in from wherever. They took a plane in from fucking Kenosha. They were down. They owned a bar and everyone was in celebrating the Rittenhouse verdicts. They're flush with cash and they figured they'd come check out New York City. So these people are like prime for a stabbing and a robbing. There was an armed a knife point robbery inside the Dave and Buster's on I think it's on like 42nd or 43rd. People are just we've drifted back to like the gangs of New York days. Like you got NYPD officers hanging up their fucking their Apple watches on lampposts to prove how tough they are, that no one's gonna fucking steal it. They'll come pick it up at the end of the shift. That's what we're getting back to. But let's keep going along.
Tell all the gang at 42nd Street that I will soon be there.
Well, if you are going to see the gang at 42nd Street, like I said, you're probably going to have to step over a homeless man. Hopefully you approach him from the front, because apparently when they sleep naked on the sidewalk, they do tuck their dick and balls to the rear. So I feel like if you have to step over one, you better just not even knowing it was there, just stepping over his mangina. Just be careful you don't crush the tip on your way down. There's lots of clearance when you're stepping over a naked homeless guy on 42nd Street. And by the way, the gang on 42nd Street over the summer. I don't know if you remember. We did a segment about how on one of the corners where I walk home to get to the bus out of the city back to the Port Authority to come home from work, there was they busted what was referred to as an open air crack den, or a crack den, crack market, open air drug market. That was just up the block from 42nd Street on 43rd Street. So I don't know. This has, there are birds flying, the sun's shining, everyone's smiling. That is not what's going on in Midtown Manhattan these days.
Whisper of how I'm yearning to mingle with the old time throng.
Yeah, again, anyone who knows anything is not yearning to mingle with the throng in Midtown Manhattan. As I just described, the throng is comprised of naked homeless men and people who will stab you in broad daylight, or if they encounter you underground, will throw you in front of a moving fucking train. And by the way, it is governed by a mayor who does not give a fuck. He doesn't even recognize that any of this shit is going on. He is just a fucking disaster. Yeah, let's wrap this bad boy up.
Give my regards to old Broadway and say that I'll be there ere long.
Ugh. I mean, that was just atrocious. Painful to listen to. But it's catchy, so it fucking sits in your head. And if you're like walking down the street at like a jaunty pace with a little caffeine in you, it'll just be rattling around in there. And you're like, oh, I get how people who have cluster headaches, would like to be euthanized. Like, I understand why they commit suicide. Because you can't escape it. It's inside your fucking brain. It's in your brain, Jerry. Your brain. Terrible. Show tunes are just irritating. Irritating stuff. I don't get why anyone would want to see a play or a musical, especially like a live musical. I almost understand, even if it's a musical movie, maybe, but it's just irritating. And a play is just. And what if we saw the movie? We're like, no, I'd like to see it. I would like to see it done worse. I like no special effects for me. I want to see it in a theater. No, I don't get it. Fucking theater kids can go fuck themselves. Fucking overdramatic assholes. I'm sorry, you little pussies weren't good at fucking sports. Can suck a dick. Probably be they'd probably delight in it. My freshman year of college, they play this cruel joke on male athletes at Muhlenberg, where they take a section of what's called the theater floor, where all the fucking the theater moes live. They have their own fucking floor so they can all hang out and mingle and rehearse. I've gotta get the lines down. Gotta study my role, or whatever the fuck they do. And then they take like a bunch of guys who are like playing baseball and wrestling and football, hockey. I think if I remember correctly, it was on the along with myself. I played football and I ran track. On the theater floor were a couple baseball players, maybe a golfer, uh, of 3 other football players, a wrestler, and then my roommate, who was like a Pennsylvania redneck who hated anyone who was different from him. So that you throw him into the category of people who wasn't too happy to be here. But yeah, it made for some very entertaining moments. Like during orientation, everyone's like introducing themselves and telling an embarrassing story, and the football guys were all like, "Yeah, they made us sing in front of the entire cafeteria, and there were chicks there, and it was rough." That was like our hazing for football. Was they used to make the freshmen serenade the female athletes in the cafeteria during preseason. Um, the fucking theater guys were all coming in hot with stories about getting caught having gay sex. Like this one guy, I forget what his fucking name was. It's like Robert or some shit like that. Is like, yeah, I was at this dude's house hooking up with him, and we were both ass naked, and his mom walked in and chased him. I guess she chased him out of the house naked. Um, and then like literally everyone after that was just another one like that. Like I guess they were all trying to put their dude love credentials out there so that they could, you put the vibe out. Like I guess like you would if you throw a bunch of chicks around, you'd be like, yeah, I got caught getting too much pussy. Fucking but yeah, it was very, very funny. Anyway, speaking of gay theater jerk offs, enter Jussie Smollett. Who the fuck knows? You guys remember Jussie from Empire? Which am I being covered up by the Sacktap Live logo and the I gotta get sorry about that, folks. Uh, Whoopsie daisy! I didn't realize was this fucking thing in front of my face the whole time, or is that? Oh no, it's not as bad. It's just misproportioned on my screen. Apologies. Jussie from Empire, which that show sucked. I am not in. I don't know if it's still on. Empire fucking sucked. I had no use for it, but I have this picture that the Post ran. I want to share it with you because he's on trial right now, and I love this fucking picture. I guess these are the guys who allegedly kicked his ass, that he hired to kick his ass. But embattled Empire actor Jussie Smollett was caught on surveillance video doing a dry run one day before his alleged hate crime attack. I fucking love this because he keeps insisting that despite his completely bogus, ridiculous, made up story, that he claims he actually was attacked and someone put a noose around his head. Everyone's like, no, dude, we know you lied. We know you made this shit up. He insists that the hate crime went down as he claims, and there's just more and more and more evidence. The surveillance footage shows Smollett walking near the scene with the Osundario brothers a day earlier, with the siblings seen taking a cab to a nearby neighborhood. The two then switched to an Uber and met up with Smollett. Prosecutors contend the footage confirms, which that's shady as fuck to begin with. Prosecutors contend the footage confirms the actor faked the January 29th, 2019 alleged attack with Nigerian brothers Abimbola and Alabinju Osundario. The fuck knows. But no white supremacists here. I don't know if you can see the guys on the screen. They look like they're about to kick Forrest Gump out of their party. I'm sorry I ruined your Black Panther party. Smollett's lawyers claim the actor was really attacked by the two brothers. Prosecutors poked a hole in that claim Tuesday, revealing a text message sent by Jussie to one of the siblings a couple weeks after the alleged attack. Brother, I love you. I stand with you. I know 10,000% you and your brother did nothing wrong and never would. It's fucking amazing. Like, just all of the evidence, and he's just like, "No, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about." Like, what, bitch? Like, this is like when Dave Chappelle needed that video of R. Kelly's grandmother there confirming it was him pissing on the chick, uh, to know it was him. Uh, like, it's just amazing. Like, this is a real life Chappelle show skit where you know, a an actor uh, decides he's gonna improve his profile by becoming the victim of a hate crime, which in woke Hollywood that works. Like, this isn't. It's not me being racist. What I'm saying is that the jackasses in Hollywood do actually consider that to be like a status thing. Um, so he pays two Nigerian brothers to attack him under the guise of being racist Trump supporters. And apparently, like, he had them yell MAGA. This is MAGA country in Chicago, MAGA country. And then when all of this just over the top, uh, fucking evidence is just showing, just mountains of evidence, is showing up that proves miles beyond a reasonable doubt that this is what happened. He's just like, no, it didn't. No. Nope. Um, like, what the fuck? Like, they say it's a squad of 24 detectives logged 3,000 hours investigating the actor's claim. Do you know how many murders there are in Chicago? Like, a shitload. Murders, and it's now turning into robbery. It used to be the talking point used to be, oh, it's it's just gang members shooting gang members in gang neighborhoods. This is in whatever fucking world some people live in. This is an acceptable thing. Don't worry about it. But now, I guess there's this shopping. I forget what it's called. There's this like very kind of main shopping district in Chicago where all the tourists go, and they're like, you know, there are armed robberies there now, where there were not armed robberies before. And Jussie, looking to increase his liberal West Coast bona fides, goes ahead and wastes taxpayer time and police, you know, fucking time and money, and they could have been investigating homicides or dangerous criminals, and they're busy chasing a fucking ghost. Amazing. And I realized that, like, you know, I just spent a bunch of time shitting on New York City, and now, you know, bitching about how fucking liberals are complete fucking idiots because of shit like this. I don't mean this to be a political show. Like, I mean this, like, I pick these stories because they amuse me. Like, I find them, this is entertaining to me that this jackass thought this would be a good idea. And, you know, jackass de Blasio producing a fucking show tunes about the neighborhood where people are getting thrown in front of trains, and naked crackheads are laying in the middle of the fucking sidewalk. These things amuse me. They just happen to be occurring under the watch of people who are hardcore progressives. There's nothing that I can do about that. Send me an article about cousin fucking, I'll go in on Alabama. Okay, I'll take it to the trailer park, baby. I don't, you know. In any case, There's going to be more. There's going to be more hilarious woke lying. This is so stupid. This one is so fucking stupid. Let me get the fucking Smollett accomplices. Let me get Malcolm X and his fucking brother off the screen here. And let me pull up our next contestant. Look at this fucking silly goose. So if you're wondering who this is not a by the way, this is not a screenshot from a promo poster for like an upcoming, Disney Pocahontas, Moana, whatever reboot. This is Carrie Bourassa. Carrie Bourassa passed as indigenous for years, and she is now a disgraced health expert. You may have seen this story going around. Her Instagram page describes her as an indigenous feminist, and proud métis with an addiction to lattes. And I love the fucking New York Post. They say only her penchant for caffeine was true. Barasa, a professor in the Department of Community Health and Epidemiology at the University of Saskatchewan and a leading expert on Indigenous issues, has been exposed as a fraud. A family tree prepared by a group of academics who were suspicious of her ancestral claims shows that Barasa is of, wait for it, what do you think? Cherokee, Lenape, Arapaho, Navajo, Blackfoot, Comanche, Seminole. What do you think? No. Swiss, Hungarian, Polish, and Czechoslovakian. And has not 1 ounce of indigenous blood. For decades, however, she has identified herself as Métis, a group recognized as one of Canada's Aboriginal peoples, along with First Nations and Inuit. She also claims some traces of Tlingit and Anishinaabe in her background. I mean, this is amazing. And when you find out how much fucking money she was bilking this university for, you're gonna find it even more amazing. Did I include that in the prep here? No, I do not believe it was $400,000. $400,000 she was getting paid to pretend to be an indigenous person when in fact she was literally of you. I mean, you could not, unless you had mixed in a little bit of like, maybe what, English, Swedish, maybe some German. You could not have had more white people in you. She says, when I was very young, I knew I was not a Caucasian person. She recently told the Saskatoon Star Phoenix, I knew there was something very different about me. There's nothing very different about. There is something different about you from the Indians, and that's that the Indians are native to Canada, and that your maternal grandparents, Ladislav and Gertrude Kniezicek, originated from Eastern Europe. Fucking ridiculous. In a 2019 TED Talk, Bourassa wore a blue woven cloak and held a feather. That's the picture you see here. As she introduced herself as, wait to hear this fucking shit, Morning Star Bear, a spirit name translated from the Tlingit language. She said she grew up in a dysfunctional family that struggled with alcoholism and violence in the Western Canadian city of Regina. Her only saving grace was the Métis grandfather she called Gramps, who took her on excursions to tan hides, pick berries, and gave her moccasins and mucklucks, boots made of sealskin worn in the Canadian Arctic. First of all, these sound like things that indigenous peoples would have done like 150 years ago. Like, I feel like you and grandpa, when you were growing up in the fucking 70s and 80s, um, probably would have just gone to a movie together. At most, you do some ice fishing. At most. And probably not, because as it turns out, you and your grandfather are not, in fact, indigenous people. After a recent report by Canada's national broadcaster, the CBC, raised questions about Barrasa's heritage, the University of Saskatchewan announced last month that it had placed her on paid leave while it conducts a sweeping independent investigation into her origins, led by an attorney who is an expert on Indigenous law. I guess he's who they call when someone's been accused of being an Indian giver. All right, that's for me. That's it for me, folks. I'm out here. Be sure to tip your waitresses. No, you know, I don't think you're allowed to say that anymore. Jerry Seinfeld got into a lot of trouble for that. I remember he was trying to bang a Native American chick. In any case, this is great. Like, she's just bilking the university out of money. She's on paid leave while they investigate these clearly bogus claims. She was also suspended as scientific director of the Indigenous Health Branch of the Canadian Institutes of Health Research. In recent days, administrators and Indigenous leaders across the country who traditionally rely on self-identification and determining Indigenous ancestry are calling for more rigorous standards. I guess, did they have a powwow to discuss that? Hey, ooh. Reginald Van Montone. Barrasa, 48, grew up in a white middle-class family in Regina, with the capital of Saskatchewan, with a population of just 240,000 residents. So not on a reservation or anything like that, or a tribal property. Her father, Ron Weeble, a small businessman who owned car cleaning companies in the city. Yeah, here's what Weeble says on his website. We lived in Regina most of our lives, married young, had 2 children, started businesses of our own, one of which we ran for over 30 years. Said Weeble on his website. This is great. This is great what her father does for a living. Berry Hills Estates, which sells custom homes near Catapwa Lake Resort, an hour outside Regina. So on Catapwa Lake, which I have to assume was once land that belonged to the indigenous Canadian people, or the first people, or whatever the fuck they call them, this guy sells luxury custom homes to wealthy Caucasians, which is just fantastic. He is literally a colonizer. And his lunatic daughter is attempting to elevate her profile by pretending to be part of the local tribe. I mean, this is really, really terrific stuff. Like, this is what I'm talking about. I don't just bash on fucking libs because of like political reasons. It's because of shit like this. And again, I realize it happens on both sides, but right now it just seems like the more entertaining stuff is really coming from the lefties. In the introduction to her 2017 book, Listening to the Beat of Our Drum, Indigenous Parenting in Contemporary Society, like, you couldn't, if this was all fucking made up, you couldn't have made it up better. Like, it's the same thing as the Jussie Smollett thing. Like, listening to the beat of our drum. That sounds like something that like a comedy, like they would write that like as if this was like a Simpsons episode or something like that. It would be like the fake indigenous person who wrote the listening to the beat of our drum. This is beyond parody. She describes her grandfather urging her to get an education to escape the poverty and violence that was rampant in her family, which included an alcoholic grandmother and absent parents. I had an alcoholic grandmother, and I had parents who I wish were absent. maybe I am a Native American. My Gramps was gently whispering to me and telling me I would be safe, wrote Barassa, but he said something else. He said, "My girl, you will be the one to stop this. You are going to grow up to be a doctor or a lawyer. You do not want to be like this. You hear me?" Family photographs tell a different story. This is fantastic, and uh, they have a family Christmas picture here. Let me swap out Barassa family photos. Where's the other one? 1 second, folks. I mean, this is the whitest fucking family on the. This is the whitest family taking the whitest picture I have ever seen in my life. Um, and my favorite thing about this picture is that her husband's name is Chad, and he's wearing a Chicago Blackhawks jersey. Like the only thing that could make this better is if he was a fucking Redskins fan. Uh, her husband's name is Chad. That is literally the name that people give to white guys when they're looking for a generic name to give to white guys. I just I am fucking obsessed with this story. She went on to become one of the most important indigenous health experts in Canada. In addition to her teaching position at the University of Saskatchewan, she was scientific director of Canadian Institute's Health Research Institute of Indigenous Peoples Health, a federal agency. She's bilking people out of tax dollars. And bragged that she made nearly $400,000 as an academic. Yeah, amazing. And the sort of coup de grace on this whole thing, the icing on the cake, is this, and we'll leave you with this. A press release issued on her behalf by Team Barassa says, quote, "An indigenous collective who chose anonymity at this time," I guess that's who Team Barassa is, says that she is exercising her right to self-identify as indigenous and has not inappropriately taken opportunities or educational funding from indigenous people. Well, except for the 400K. That's amazing. She is exercising her right to self-identify as indigenous. Well, that's it. I am the ancestor, or the are you the ancestor? I'm the descendant of Sitting Bull. I wanted to let you guys know. Yeah. Prove me wrong. You don't fucking know. It's my right. I'll move to Canada, where it's my right to self-identify as such, and I'm going to make a shitload of money. In any case, let's get this wacko off the screen and bring back what I know you folks all love, and that is a heaving set of bosoms. Yep. And a reminder to you bastards to subscribe. Tell your friends. This is the place for big ass titties. Facebook.com/The Savage Crew. Mike Montone on YouTube. And what are the other socials? At Mike Montone on Twitter. At Gary_Moyler Moyler on Instagram. And yeah, follow those. The Savage Sacktap, for those of you fucking wieners who don't like big tits for some reason, is available all over the goddamn place. If you can't find it, Google it. And that's that. Like I said, there are going to be a bunch of these pre-records going on from time to time in the relative short-term future. And I do it not because I much prefer to do the live show, but I do have a bunch of commitments and I needed to balance those with getting this product out there to the 6 or so people who watch on a regular basis. So that is that. I will catch you next week. I think probably live next week. I can't guarantee, but probably. Anyway, adios, bitches.